Kevin Saunders and the Gretna Hawks. They're in the state semifinals, and they've got it at their field in Gretna on Saturday. Amelia County will be the opposition. Of course, the Raiders got them early in the year. Now Gretna looks to return in the favor at a big, big time. Winner goes to the state semifinals next week in Salem. I had a chance to catch up with Kevin Saunders. He talks about the win against Riverheads and much, much more on the Sports Buffet podcast. Always fun for me to talk to Kevin Saunders. He's been great to me since he's moved back to the area, and I'm certainly thankful for that. He's the head coach of the Gretna Hawks, and it's December and Gretna's still playing football. Surprise, surprise. Thanksgiving weekend was a one to be thankful for, Coach. A victory over the Gladiators from Riverheads. What went right?
Pretty much about everything went right the other night. I think we got in the playoffs. We got to playing good the last 4 weeks of the year, really good. And it seemed to keep getting better and better each week. We played well up at Giles. I think that offense kind of helped us get her up with up the Riverheads did. They had a 25-game winning streak, and our kids went up there, and it was a different environment. Never played them before. It was a great evening. We played well for the most part on all phases of the game, and it was a really good night.
You talked about playing really good the past 4 weeks. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you saying the Hawks are peaking at the right time?
I don't know if we're peaking, but we seem to be getting better. I think, we've definitely played great defense for the most part, really well. We have played great defense for the whole year. We haven't given up more than 17 points in any game this year, and haven't given up more than 2 touchdowns in any game this year. So that's been great. Our offense seems to be getting better each week and finding different ways to get different kids the ball. We have a lot of people contribute up there at Riverheads. Dion was 8 for 9 passing, and threw the ball to, I think, 4 or 5 different receivers. That made it a really good night there, and we ran the ball really effectively. We have the whole playoffs, so, and we have the last 4 weeks we've mixed up well, and it's been getting better.
How has the offense come along since you made that switch from Tony Miller to Dion Rosser, which, if I'm not mistaken, happened in the Amelia game the first time?
It did. It happened in the second half. We were stale at halftime. We were down 7-0 until halftime, and played poorly. Which, that Amelia had a lot to do with that. And we thought, Dion was eventually going to be our quarterback. We just didn't know when. But we went ahead, and I told him at halftime, coaches, I said, guys, just go ahead and put him in our second half. Can't do no worse than what we're doing, and let's just go with him. He needs to be our quarterback. We need to move Tony out in space and put some defenses in a little different situations. When Tony Miller's in space, it opens everybody else up a lot better. So did that, moved the ball second half, just couldn't pull it all the way through up there at Amelia. But Dion's played really, really well. He's only lost 1 game as a starter in his career so far, so he's doing pretty good.
Once we get to this point in the season, do you like the fact that you're seeing different people, or do you not mind the fact, too, that obviously you just want to keep playing, but do you mind the fact that you're getting somebody, I don't want to say you're going to preach revenge on Saturday, but it's somebody that, maybe you feel you owe a little something to?
I like playing somebody different. I think the kids have really enjoyed the new playoff system. We played John Battle first time in the history of school, played Giles first time in the history of school, played Riverheads first time in the history of the school. So, those are 3 playoff games. 2 of 3 were on the road, and great environment. The environment at Riverheads and Giles was just tremendous. That was a great experience for our kids, and they enjoyed it. We've only played Amelia, pretty much 1 time, and it was a great game that night. We're expecting the same thing this Saturday.
Does the word revenge even come out of your mouth at all this week?
No, we just talked about it. Our kids haven't said anything about it. They want to redeem themselves, but they felt like we played bad and made some mistakes. The thing on Amelia is really good. I think they feel like that, they were the better team that night, and probably was the best team we played for the most part all year, I thought. And, we're going to have to play well to play with them again this Saturday.
One thing that impresses me about Amelia, probably without even seeing him, is knowing Brad Bradley like the way I do. His team is always prepared. What sticks out to you about the Amelia County Raiders based on what you saw the first time and what you've seen on film up until now?
Well, I think what it is they match up well with us, which a lot of teams don't, but they match up well with us. They're strong on their offense and defense lines, which we are too, and that was a big thing the first time we played them. It's been truthfully the only time anybody's really matched up with us on offense and defense line. So that part is, they're going to be prepared. Our kids are going to be prepared. I don't think you get to this point without kids being prepared and ready to play. And that's just this time of year. It's new for the kids for Amelia, but our kids are used to this and practicing in the cold and doing things different. These kids are used to this here at Gretna.
One thing that impresses me too, and I think you and Don Rice probably stuck out to me this year about doing it. You guys would always go out of your way to praise your kickers because you guys have weapons both at the kicker position. How important is it to have that guy who maybe can, you feel automatic with, from not only extra points but maybe a field goal from, 30 yards or so?
It feels good knowing that when you're playing somebody good, you don't always have to score touchdowns. And the other thing is he kicks the ball. Jason kicks the ball to whoever we got him to kick to now. He can kick it deep, he can kick it short, kick it on the ground. He's done a tremendous job. He's going to be a great recruit for somebody. He's only a sophomore. And, his first team all-district. He kicks the ball tremendously. And often, he's a weapon on the field as a kickoff. And it makes it easier knowing our kids know where the ball's going to be kicked. And he's not going to miss it. And they get out of their lane. So that helps. And then he's pretty good from about 38 in. He's pretty consistent on this field goal. So we feel, if we get the ball on the 30-yard line, about 25, with 30 to 25, at least we got a chance to kick it if we need to.
Since you've been back in the area and obviously that time been spent at Gretna, how happy are you with the way things have come along for your team and the job that you guys have done in your tenure so far?
I'm extremely pleased. I don't think when I took the job over at Gretna, I was told by people, in the community in the area and stuff that, that all the talent had gone and you'd be lucky to win 5 or 6 games. They just didn't think it was there. After Chris's last year, they thought, that most of those kids had gone. If we were going to have a good year, it would have been, next junior year. And we ended up winning 10 that year. And then, I don't know if anybody expected us to do anything. And we hung around and won 12 last year. And with the graduation of Nick and all those seniors last year, nobody expected this team to do anything. I think they just thought we would, didn't have a go-to guy, this, that, and the other thing, and we've come along and, won 11 games. We might be better on defense this year than any of the 2 teams I've had previously here, and they'll go down as one of the better teams that's ever played defense at Gretna High School. They've given up less than, just right at a touchdown a game for the year. They're just a great bunch of kids, and they bought into what we do, and they understand our defense and offense very well, and they handle checks and what we do, and they're very comfortable in our system. And I think they've become kids that are accustomed to it. We've had kids get hurt, and we've plugged in their backups, and they've done a great job for us. It's just, I think it's a good thing we got going here. I think the kids, every week in, week out, know they got to
As always, Coach, appreciate the time. In closing, give me one key in the offensive game, one key in the defensive game, and one key in the area of special teams that gives you guys at least one more point than Amelia on Saturday.
Well, the key to it is in the kicking game, you can't give up a big play. You can't have a kick block, or you can't give up a big return, or you can't fumble the ball. Offensively, we can't have any turnovers and can't have any mental mistakes. It's the same thing pretty much every week. And defensively, we got to limit their big plays, and we got to tackle their kid. If we can do that, then we'll have a chance to win.
One more thing real quick. How important is it, too, that you don't want your team coming out, obviously state semifinals mistakes are obviously could kill you if you make a couple, but how important is it, too, that you don't want your kids coming out tight?
Our kids haven't been tight all year. I think we've embraced the underdog role. We'll be the underdog again on Saturday, and our kids, they've been in this situation before. They've been in the state semifinals every year that I've been here, so they've been here. And this senior class has been in state semifinals every year. They understand what it's about. Matter of fact, all these kids have. I mean, they're expecting to play. They expected to play over Thanksgiving weekend. They expected these things to happen. They knew we got to practice, Tuesday and gave them the week schedule, and they knew what was going on, and, went out there today and was crisp and went through everything, and so they're used to what's going on, and they've been really loose. They were loose when we got up to Riverheads. They're shooting the fireworks off before the game. A couple of kids go, those are nice. I mean, they loved all that. Got up to Giles. It was a huge atmosphere up there, packed house. Seeing the town painted up and all that. That was all good stuff. Our kids embraced it.
At this point, too. At this point, too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, at this point, too, in the season, I don't want to say is athleticism carrying you through, but, just based on the years where I've seen Giles and I've seen Riverheads, they do things maybe to where it's almost mistake-free, but, no disrespect to those two schools. I know they have athletes, but it seems like athletes from Central Virginia, when I've seen William Campbell in the past go down and play them, are just a little bit quicker, maybe just a little bit faster than those guys. How important is athleticism kind of in the terms of carrying you through at this point?
Well, the athleticism carries you through, but I've seen a lot of good teams that have had great athletes that they're poorly coached and just can't do things, can't line up, get outflanked, those kind of things. So Riverheads and Giles had a little. Once you got there and experienced them and playing with them, they were a little faster than we anticipated. I think the difference boils down is to the athletic. I've always said this: everybody has athletes, or close to everybody, especially in the playoffs, are going to have athletes in skill positions. Some will be a little better than others, but for the most part, everybody's got athletes. It's dependent on the athletes you have on the offensive and defensive line. Is, I think, a huge difference. I think when you look at kids that play linebacker and they got the 50 numbers on, that means they're backup lineman or they're starting lineman. I worry about when I see those kids that playing linebacker with the 20s and 30s and single digits on. That means they're skilled kids playing linebacker. So that's a big, huge difference, I think, in our level, our district and our area when you play the teams from, Southwest and stuff. Most of their skilled guys, our linebackers and stuff, have 50 numbers on. And that's where you get a little bit of a difference. This is linemen that can run and move and change direction. Makes a big difference.
Coach, like I told you earlier before we started, the first game of the year for me attending in person will be this one, and I think I'm going to be attending a good one. Look forward to talking to you afterwards on Saturday, and best of luck against Amelia.
Well, I appreciate it. It should be a great atmosphere. It's supposed to be a beautiful day, and it's going to be, it's fun. This is what high school football is about. Two really good teams going to play, and two teams coached well, and we have a great community support here for our program, and Brad's trying to get that started down there at his place, so hopefully we can just pull this thing off and play again in the state championship for another year.
Kevin Saunders on the Sports Buffet Podcast.